Good morning. I really wanted to give you guys a tour of our farm gardens. We have our archway here with just a few things in the raised beds, the two raised beds. I had a friend make these for me and I've really enjoyed them. Last year, everything I had in them pretty much got ate up by grasshoppers, so this year they're doing much better. We have some Swiss chard in there. This is red Swiss chard, and I just think it's really pretty. And then we have a few pumpkin vines in there. I also planted some loofah at the back side so it would climb up this archway, but I don't know, it's not coming up yet. We've gotten some cooler weather, so it may not be quite as warm as it needs to be for it to sprout. So I'm going to cut this Swiss chard back this morning. And then the grasshoppers also got all of our I can't think of what they're called right at the moment. Lilacs. And so I had to cut them all back. They were just nothing but sticks and they still look a little puny. But I had, I think, 6 more over here on that side, and the grasshoppers killed them for sure. And then we had to trim back our honeysuckle bush, and you can see that far one, it still has some stemmy stuff that we couldn't quite reach up at the top, so we left it, and I'm hoping to get it kind of trimmed back a little bit more. But they look like that all the way around. It looked awful. But we've got over here is just my daughter's little area, my youngest little area. She has planted some cantaloupe, some green cantaloupe. I'm thinking she dropped some seed over here by the lilac bush. And but she's got cantaloupe, and then she's got some cabbage, some bok choy cabbage that is kind of going to seed right there. So we're gonna get that cut today. And then here's one that looks really nice. So, and then we've got potatoes over there on that side, and then they run into our potatoes over there in the main garden. She also has some sugar baby watermelon coming up, and then these watermelon on this end are just volunteers that we had in our raised bed that came up, so we planted them out here. She also planted some watermelon just back behind me, and it doesn't seem to be coming up. Over here we have pumpkins. Some of these look kind of puny because I just planted them out yesterday, but they also came up volunteer in our raised bed, so I'm just going to try them out over here and see if they'll work. But I've got them all along the bottom of these trees. As you can tell, they go all the way down that direction. And then I've got some little tomatoes planted here. I've also got some beans. These are purple hyacinth beans, and they'll really get to rocking whenever it warms up. But if the rabbits have been they've already munched off 2 of them, so I only have 2 left. So I'm hoping that they do well and go to seed for me. And then I've got my tomatoes. Again, these were planted by seed, so they're still really small. And we're hoping, I've got some down on the other end that are much bigger, but we're hoping that they make and do really well this year, so we have lots of things to make with tomatoes. These are our potatoes. We have 5 rows of potatoes. We've got these 3, and then there's 2 more on the other side. I'm gonna walk down here. Right, let me come over here, and then I'll show you. Cross over. because I raked this all last night. Right here we also have, and they're all along here, or down here, I have a nice little size row of them. But they are Malabar spinach, red Malabar spinach. And they too came up volunteer in my raised bed, so I planted them out here. This is our little red bud tree, so this is our red section. The red section, I guess you could say. This is walking onions, Egyptian walking onions, and I'm hoping to get the bulbs to pickle them. And these on this side are beets. So here towards summertime, our garden should be almost finishing up. We'll be harvesting potatoes and beets, and I actually have a few carrots coming up over here on this end of the tomatoes. I didn't think they were going to sprout, but I have a few, and I planted them super thick. So I may end up just letting them grow and harvest seed off of them, because they are the last of my Danvers. Here's one of my bigger tomatoes. I don't know if you see those. All those little carrots sprouting up. And my weeds, I need to get in here and do this side of the bed. But I have tomatoes just every little bit here that are just coming up. I'm hoping to harvest these closer to fall, so I don't have my tomatoes needing harvested right at the same time as my beets and my potatoes, because it wears me out with canning it all. Oh, and then here's the rest of the pumpkins. They look a little healthier on this side. And then, like I said, they're just all down through here, underneath every little section of the trees, all the way to the other end. I may have more pumpkins than what I need, but maybe I can share with somebody else. This is my oldest daughter's garden, and she is doing really well with her tomatoes. She actually planted that one right there by seed, and it's doing amazing. It actually is one of her healthier looking tomato plants. These she also planted by seed, and we had a rabbit get this one, so he's starting to come back. We're hoping these 4 do really well. This will be our first year growing this variety. It is called Big Daddy, and she got these in the ground when it was raining out, so they took hold, and I think they're going to do really well. They look a little puny. It's just they're doing better than what they were. They're starting to get some new leaves on them. So this one looks like he's had a bit too much water. She marked them because she was out here raking yesterday, and the rabbit has also enjoyed her lettuce, but she does have more lettuce coming up in the row down there, so she's hoping that she gets a harvest this year. And we've harvested a lot of her spinach. We're kind of down to the end here. It's going to start bolting before long, but we're hoping to get one more harvest and can it. And then this is her Swiss chard, and she also planted red Swiss chard. We have white Swiss chard planted at the house in town, but I thought we're going to harvest hers this morning too, but she did really well. She said there's so much space in between each plant, but it's because we had kind of a wash. The rain kind of washed in the beginning of the summer, or the beginning of the spring, I guess I should say, rather. Washed some of the seed out and washed some of her spinach seed down with her Swiss chard, so she has a little bit of spinach down here at this row instead of up there in that row where it belongs. But that's okay. We'll take it. Also, she is going to plant out some fall squash, so it looks like there's a lot of empty room but she's hoping to plant out some fall squash. She also started some more new tomatoes. I don't think that they're gonna make it. We should have planted those out in the evening, but she's got a few little spots here where we've got tomatoes planted. I think that one over there may end up making it. I don't know, we'll wait and see. This is our last garden bed, and we planted out some corn. My daughters and my husband all really enjoy corn, so we planted out some corn. It's doing really well. There's a few spots where maybe you see a skip. We've had rabbits, and we've also had, I had dogs run through right there where that skip is. Oh, whoops. And so I've replanted, but I don't know if it's gonna come up or not. Some of it is over here in this second row, but we had some dogs running through there. Not our dog, but other neighbors' dogs. And then we planted out some black zucchini squash. This will be my first year to have this variety. I had planted some out last year, but it just didn't make it. So I'm hoping that this will do good and be abundant right in the fall again, so that I can harvest that in the fall and enjoy it in the fall or late summer. I didn't say, but my daughter, I've also planted okra down there on that end, but I only have two plants coming up. My germination rate was terrible, but I did go ahead and reseed early on in they're little bitty. That's one of my okra plants, and then I've got another one coming up here, and it may not be warm enough yet. I'm not sure. There's one right there. But I had to come in here and kind of get this taken care of too. I had some little weeds coming, like you saw in the other garden. Just a little field of green on the floor. What I was going to say is my daughter has a plan for her garden. She's hoping her tomatoes get to going over there on that side, and then as her greens are finishing up, she is going to plant her butternut squash. She's planting a variety called Honey Baby Butternut Squash, and she's hoping that it does amazing over here. She really has enjoyed, last year was her first year to try butternut squash, and she really enjoyed it fixed with butter and brown sugar, and I canned some up for her, and she ate some of it fresh in the fall, and she really enjoyed it. So she wanted to plant some this year. This is her first year taking over a garden spot all by herself, and she has done the work by herself. And my youngest too. However, she has not done as much of the work by herself. I've had to help her along with keeping weeds out and getting things planted at the right time, just because she's not really aware of all of that just yet. So we're gonna keep working and plugging along. I was really surprised that they both asked for a little area to plant, so that made my heart happy. Anyhow, you can kind of see the field of green on the floor here. We've got to get in and get this. I got the other side raked and all the weeds taken care of yesterday, but this side is still kind of a bed of green. Got little weeds coming. So that's the plan for today. I hope you all are blessed. I will talk to you later. Bye.